Good afternoon. I know you're like, wow, you doing your day 18 early, and I am. I took a PTO today because I did not feel good today, and the funny part is I had a dream that I called out because I didn't feel good. Okay, because I didn't feel good, and I was like, okay, and I dreamt about it twice. So, and I normally don't dream of the same thing back to back. So I was like, let me just, just take the time off. And so, and I didn't want to do like day 18 and 19. So I said, I'm just gonna do this early, and then I'm gonna and go and rest because everything is whatever this thing was or is, it's coming out. It's coming out. And so, um, so I know by the end of the day I should feel better. So, welcome to my channel. My name is Bonita, and what we're doing is 21 days of faith, perfect December. And what we're doing is we're exercising our faith muscle. When when your muscles are weak, you exercise so they can be strong, and that's what we're doing to our faith. The things that we may have been going through in our lives, may our faith take a little low, our faith waned. And so that's what this 21 days of faith is, that we are exercising our faith muscle to be back strong again. There you. All right. And so, and so perfect December means that God is perfecting everything that we are believing and praying for, and that we shall see before the year is out. But we have to have faith to believe. Now, if this is your first time being on my channel, please go back to day one. Day one starts on December 1st. So today is day 18, and what we're talking about is faith to tell your testimony. And that is in Revelations 12, verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives until the death. So our testimony is powerful, and a lot of times the enemy doesn't want us to share our testimony because of shame, because of, well, will it benefit anybody, or or I don't think I should tell my testimony. But you should. Your testimony, you never know what somebody else is going through that went through the same thing you went through. And by you sharing your testimony, that gives them faith, knowing that, wow, he or she went through the same thing I went through. Therefore, I know I could come out of there. I know if he or she went through that and God did it for them, surely they'll do it for me. And so that's why it is so important to share our testimony. So I'm going to share mine. So I know with my testimony, I was obedient to God. He told me back in 2011 that I will move to Jacksonville, Florida, that this is where I will live and raise my family. And so I remember when I heard that, I figured, okay, I'll move any day now, whatnot. No, I take that back. Actually, I just said, oh, okay, this seemed like a nice place to stay. And a place to live rather. And I didn't think nothing of it. And the trip part about it, we was coming from Daytona, and we always, that was like our annual trip, because that was our trip. We go for Labor Day, but we never went through Jacksonville. That was the one time that we went through Jacksonville from Daytona. And so I knew that was nothing but God. And so 10 years later, God told me, all right, this is the year that you're moving to Jacksonville. I think it was like in July. No, it was June. It was the summer of 2011, and where God told me it's time to move. And in 2016, I believe it was 2016, I was seeing Florida tags every single day. So I said, okay, God, this is you confirming your word that, that we're going to move to Jacksonville, Florida. And so And so 2021, 10 years later, I said, okay. So I found a realtor in Jacksonville. She had me talk to a gentleman that was a lender. And so was talking to him, got everything together, gave all my information, had to take a homeowner's course. So I took that. And so just getting everything together, God showed me what job to apply for. So I applied for that. Let me go put the fries in. I'm always doing something, ain't I? I'll be right back. Okay, I was getting the fries for Darian. And so I had everything together. I applied for the job. I had the interview, got the job. And so now it was just about having a house, because before we were staying in an apartment back in my hometown in Augusta. And God had already told me, after this apartment, you get in a house. You're not getting another apartment, you get in a house. And I was like, okay. And so God told me the dates that I had to move, which was between August 8th and August 18th. And at the time, school started August 13th. So so the lender, he wanted me to wait until I get a raise, because I was going to get another raise at my job, at the job that I was at back home. And so I asked the Lord, I said, well, Lord, maybe I should wait till like September instead of August. And God was like, no, do you trust me? And I was like, yeah, I trust you, Lord. Okay. So we moved. So we left Augusta August 7th. I put everything that I can in my car, and we left, and we went to extended stay. And I told the lender, hey, we're here in Jacksonville. And so he was like, oh, you here? And I was like, yeah. He said, okay, well, let's see what all we can do, blah, blah, blah. I didn't hear back from him. Then there was a young lady that took his place, and she was like, okay, I'm going to get back with you. And she never did. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, but the thing was, I was at peace, y'all. I was at peace, and I was not worried at all. And so, and then this young lady, who I was friends with, like over 10 years, she knew everything about the move, like what I'm telling you now. She knew all of that. And so she was like, well, how about you stay with us? And I was like, are you sure? I said, because I don't want to intrude, because, hey, people like their space, and I respect that, you know what I'm saying? And so she was like, oh, no, it's fine, you can stay. And so I made that Wednesday the last day at the extended stay. And so we moved in with her. I gave her money to move. And so all was well so far, because I said, well, let me just look for an apartment. And at the time, they had the tenants had COVID protection, so the landlords weren't looking for no new tenants. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was December of 2021 that protection would end. And so I was like, no, I need something now. And so, like I said, everything was going well. I was still looking for an apartment. And then the young lady that I was staying with, I started getting bad vibes anyway. More of jealousy vibes. And I was just like, I don't know what she's jealous for. She already been here in Jacksonville. Like, I don't understand. And we was there for that week was fine, but that second week she just changed. She was like, this is not gonna work. Y'all need to leave. Like, I don't know why you wasn't better prepared. God ain't gonna tell you to move somewhere and not give you a plan. And I'm sitting here like, do we serve the same God? Because God told Abraham to move. And okay, God told Abraham to move. Abraham didn't know where he was going. He just went where God told him, and that was that. So, but I didn't tell her that at the time, because at the time, what she was saying, that brought out fear to me. And then I started looking at other jobs when I had already had a job in Holy Spirit was like, girl, like, what you doing? Like, you heard me. You heard right. Don't let this deter you, because that's what's happening. And so she did. She put us out, and what I did was I was in the parking lot, and I was like, because I was mad. I wanted to fight her. I wanted to curse her out. But I was like, you know what? I said, Lord, I'm not moving until this is lifted off of me. And I just kept saying, I forgive her. 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 That's what I kept saying until I felt a release. Then once I felt a release, then we went back to extended stay. And we just stayed there until I had no money left. And then that's when we ended up being in a shelter. But even though we was at the shelter, we was only there a year, and God moved us from there to a homeowner, to a house. I went from homelessness to a homeowner. And y'all, God did it for me, He'll do it for you. And I end up having a testimonial book that I have out now, that I just released. And so I'm going to put that in the description box that talks more about the testimony that I just said, because I just did a summary of it. But don't ever be ashamed to tell your testimony, because your testimony will help someone who is going through the exact same thing you did. And by you telling your testimony, it shows that that you made it, that God got you through it, and that will encourage them and give them faith to know, okay, I know that God going to get me through it because He got him or her through it. So don't ever be ashamed of your testimony. Don't ever feel like you shouldn't tell it. Tell your testimony. It gives God the glory. Okay? All right. I will see you guys tomorrow for day 19. And may you have a marvelous Monday. Be blessed.